Also, I think there was a Windover video I wanted to watch. It's how Disney designed Galaxy's Edge to suck up everyone's money.
This is Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. It seats 4 to a bench. It lasts approximately 4 minutes.
I've never been, but I want to go.
Changed
Harry Potter. Hey, any millennials in chat? Rise up! Let's go!
Rather than technological invention, it relied on innovative amalgamation. The ride married tracks, robotic arms, wraparound screens, and film shots exclusively for the attraction to create a deeply intimate, individualized tour through a universe previously inaccessible outside of imagination. Guests loved it. They just couldn't explain it. From the Wizarding World's entrance, where designers manipulated sightlines to foster a false sense of expanse, to the food, beverage, and merchandise, be it a pint of butterbeer or a wool sweater straight out of the movies, the 20-acre plot didn't just look like Harry Potter, it felt like Harry Potter. The expansion became the park's crown jewel. In the year following its opening, park attendance jumped a staggering 66%. Tourists snatched up Harry Potter sweaters in the Florida heat and stuffed $55 wands into carry-ons. Through bold innovation...
Sorry, what? You said $55 wand? You said $55 for a piece of plastic that looks like a wand? Excuse me? I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about because I literally bought the fucking lightsaber at Galaxy's Edge. And by the way, it broke within like a month. Not only did I buy it, but I literally cringed. Like, I basically like argued with a underpaid employee to get the red Kyber crystal so I could have a red lightsaber. I was like, I know you have it in there. I saw it on YouTube. Tell me, give me the red one. And there was like 6 kids in front of me and 6 kids behind me, and I was fucking 29, 28.
Visitors were now planning trips around Universal Studios, and if they had the time, would check out Disney World too. The thing about Disney, though, is that when they lose, they don't stay down for long. Developing unique, unbranded food, beverage, and merchandise while partnered with manufacturers and soda companies proved tricky. Such novelty simply hadn't been employed before, and Universal chafed under Rowling's requirements. In the past, directors like Steven Spielberg and James Cameron had come on at Universal and Disney to advise, but this was different. Their themed editions served Coke and Pepsi, not butterbeer. Rowling's centrality and authority was simply unprecedented, and for Universal it proved a frustrating process. But as with the books, Rowling's vision was on point, and the parks popped, not in spite of the constraints, but because of them. While Universal...
I mean, it makes sense. Even if I don't agree with her opinions on trans rights. Like, thinking more of the George R. R. Martin example, I think you want the author to be involved as much as possible to make it as close to the books. Because the business is going to want to water it down. You know, it's like, I'm just thinking if they made like a Game of Thrones experience or a ride or something. I would want him... A ride would be so stupid, though. It's a ride where you go around a fucking conference table and you hear people lying to each other. And a random guest dies every trip. That'd be sick. That'd be fucking sick, dude.
The revamped ride hardly made waves, but it gave Disney CEO Bob Iger a chance to speak with George Lucas. Months later,
Bob Iger. And we can never forget his iconic quote. When you're talking Bob Iger, there's only one quote that comes to mind. If we give people the ability to buy a lot more because they can store a lot more for a company that creates TV shows and movies, that's fantastic. Yep. That's a quote that will live in history. When you think about pithy business quotes that sum things up, look no further than Disney CEO Bob Iger. I get chills every time.
This was a trading outpost on the frontier planet Batuu, a fully fledged element of Star Wars canon brought into reality thanks to the deepest level of theming.
Yeah, people always say this, but it's really hard to be immersed when there's a dude like wearing a fuck Fauci t-shirt and his mask over one ear. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's you're never walking around like, yeah, I'm in Star Wars.
They use unique themed terminology. Cell phones are data pads, water fountains are hydrators, bathrooms are refreshers, and bright suns means good morning. The food all reflect what Star Wars characters.
You're like a family with your little kid who's spray shitting everywhere and you're trying to find the nearest bathroom. And the stormtrooper's like, do you mean the refresher? Why don't you check your data? Shut the fuck up! My kid's vomiting and shitting and I just need to get a bathroom. Tell me where the bathroom is.
While Universal's case might have been spurred forward by the author's deep creative control, both parks ingeniously shifted their strategies to capitalize on one of the most dramatic shifts in the way consumers consume ever. In short, young people aren't buying things, they're buying experiences. While the average baby boomer devotes $134 to experiences in a given month, millennials, a far less wealthy cohort, spend $164.
And we don't even have any money. That's awesome. Yes. We don't need housing if we have $55 Harry Potter wands and we know what house we're in. You know what I'm saying? You don't need physical housing when you have Gryffindor. That's my house. That's where I live. That's where my heart is. These boomers think they have it all just because they have all the real estate stocks and wealth. But they're fucking missing out, idiots.
But not in a way that fit the 21st century conception of it. Airbnb.
Did I just had a dystopian thought? You know how like they won't build high density housing anywhere? What if they rebranded it as like a fucking Gryffindor dorm? So instead of like a tenement slum, it's the same thing. It's a tiny fucking room, but the whole thing is like cheaply themed after Harry Potter. I don't live in the slums, dude. I live in a Griffin dorm.
This helps promote a sense of exploration as they move around, and obfuscating people's mental maps typically defaults them to perceiving a place as larger than it actually is. Another concept that differs in Galaxy's Edge relative to other lands is that of the payoff. Payoff is what designers use to refer to anything.
It is cool. I will say one thing I noticed for the lightsaber building, you sign up for it and then it's like, okay, meet me in the back alley or whatever. You know, you have to like show up at a certain time at like this back door and like they like look around and they act like it's secret and then they knock and let you know, it feels kind of cool even though you know it's like they do this 400 times a day. And then what's weird is when you get inside, there's not even any lightsabers, it's just the guy selling drugs. And then you and your fiance just like, I guess, buy the drugs. And then you end up not doing any more Disney stuff the rest of the day. And it's like, wow, that was part of the ride? That was crazy. And then you realize you weren't even at Disneyland at all. You were like just in an alley. Yeah, that's the whole thing's wild. I mean, Bob Iger was on one for sure when he made that shit.
In more traditional theme park design, the payoffs are big, but don't always live up to their promise. In its early years, Sleeping Beauty's castle was a major payoff for entering the park, but guests were often disappointed to learn that they couldn't enter the structure. Disney eventually fixed this by adding an interior, but has perpetually weighed towards overselling and underdelivering with its major exterior elements until Galaxy's Edge. The entrances of the land do very little to sell it. While most lands typically open to a big, expansive, impressive view, Galaxy's Edge is—
Bro, they made a Bugs Land? Really?
While most lands typically—
That was real? It's not like Star Wars. You know, it's not like something you identify with. You're like, oh, I'm a flick. Such a Grasshopper thing to say. I did love Hopper. I thought Hopper was fucking Giga Chad, dude. Hopper was sick. He had good fucking speeches. When Hopper is talking to, I remember this speech vividly. When he's talking to the other grasshoppers, and like, what are they gonna do? They're just one little ant. And he's like, ha, you're right. Imagine this seed is one little. Let's watch that right now. It's a great scene.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant.
Are you kidding?
How about this?
Holy shit. Holy shit.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
I stopped the movie right here, but I think the message of it was that capitalism is good and that we should make sure that a few people have all the wealth and power.
Essentially, Disney has created a land where to live like a Star Wars character, to get the individualized experience everyone wants, guests have to shop like a Star Wars character. But of course, for Galaxy's Edge to exist as a theme park land, it must have some theme park rides. But doing something new only rarely translates into doing something better. For example, England's Alton Towers theme park has long featured the Galactica coaster, which is regularly ranked as one of the world's 50 best. In 2016, after the park's winter closure, the ride reopened, refurbished as the world's first virtual reality roller coaster.
Wait, isn't that kind of whack though? Because if you have VR goggles on, what's the point? Can it all just be shaking you around in a room? You can feel the wind? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I'm not ruling it out, but it sounds whack. But I'm not sure.
Ultimately, though, guests hated it. The need to fit everyone with headsets, and therefore, after 3
All right, fuck you, chat. Everyone fucking defending it. No, it sounds sick as fuck. Imagineers.
The ride starts
Fat
with
chest.
guests entering a briefing room where a hologram sets up what's to come. Riders are told that they're new recruits fighting for the resistance and are soon ushered onto a transport ship bound for the planet Bakara. These ships are essentially simulator pods that provide light motion that matches what's seen through the windows. However, the plot progresses with the ship being captured by an enemy First Order Star Destroyer, meaning guests must exit into an area different from where they entered. To achieve this, there are actually 3 simulator pods positioned on a giant turntable. Once the doors are closed, the turntable spins about a third, timed up with the movement of the ship rotating upon takeoff. An exit from the door
And
through
they're
which they
filling
enter
in
into
the-
an
oh my
entirely
God,
new
that's
space.
cool.
A massive, cavernous room filled with dozens of stormtroopers.
This I went to Galaxy's Edge, but this wasn't ready when I went there because I went like pretty soon after it opened. So I haven't seen this yet. I've heard it's good. I might go this year because Ari wants to go and she likes Star Wars.
The ride vehicle is automatically locked into place using attachments in the floor, as what the escape pod actually is another full motion simulator. Except this time, the simulator isn't mounted on a turntable, it's mounted inside a drop tower. Guests therefore experience the unmistakable sensation of free fall as the escape pod ejects from the ship, and rotate left, right, back, and forth as the pod flies through outer space.
Wait, that's cool as
Finally,
shit.
the ride vehicle exits the simulator. Why that works well nowadays, but less so in decades before, is because word of mouth is more powerful than ever.
Yeah,
By
social media
providing
and such.
guests a showy, best-in-the-world experience, people want to brag about it on
Yeah,
social
yeah.
media.
Yeah.
In the same way that people flaunt going to Coachella or the Super Bowl, people flaunt having experienced such a unique ride. Disney wants people to be able to enjoy repeat
a good
visits,
question.
as getting guests to come back is far cheaper than marketing to attract new guests. Rise of the Resistance incorporates many of the design elements that increase re-rideability, starting with just having a ton going on. Walt Disney described this as the cocktail party effect.
Bro, have you guys heard of this? There's something I heard about that I really want to do. I've heard about it and it just sounds so fucking cool, but it never happens in my city or where I am at my place. It's like a play. It's a play set in a mansion. And all of the actors are masked up. Sleep No More. It's called Sleep No More. And it's like set in a hotel or something. And you are the guest. And what you are is you're supposed to be a ghost. So you wear a mask and the actors don't see you. They don't interact with you. So what you're just a fly on the wall. So you can walk around the whole hotel or mansion or whatever. And there's so many things going on that you could never see it on one showing. So like there's like a murder mystery happening and a love affair and like all the actors are just doing their shit. So you just come in and you're a ghost and you can walk around and anytime you pay for the ticket, you can see whatever you want. And there's supposed to be like 100 different plot lines all happening and you can follow them and listen to them and hear about, we're going to meet up at midnight and you can go to it's just cool. I heard it sounds so fucking cool. DJ Wheat, who worked at Twitch, has done this like 6 times. And he said it's entirely different every time, and he like really enjoyed it. And I've always wanted to do it, but I never got the chance.
Cocktail
Hitman level. I'm not. So they're at the briefing. All right, so you're a ghost. So wear the mask, don't say anything, and just watch. And I'm like, sure, you got it. Ghost, silent assassin. I get it. And I'm choking out the actors. I'm dragging actors into fucking. They're gonna find half the actors in like crates and closets.
People no longer want to just watch stories. They want to experience them. Consumers are willing to invest.
He says as we pan on a video of every single person with their phone out recording. People don't want to just watch.